Let me ask you a question. What do you know about fire protection? Some of you might know a little bit, some of you might know a lot. But let me show you what we have learned here at ProClean Industries to help you save time and money with your fire protection. So let's start at the beginning. It all starts with the API 2218. The API 2218 are the guidelines for fireproof protection. But what it doesn't show is the material to use or the true cost of the fireproofing at an end result of the project. So let's take the two most common used fireproofing materials in the industry today. Lightweight cementitious concrete and intumescent fireproofing. Let's put them in an example and show the overall final project costs. So let's start with the first category, galvanizing. Lightweight cementitious concrete needs galvanizing because it's a permeable material, which creates corrosion underneath the fireproofing, also known as CUF. So in this comparison at 10,819 square feet, we're at $20,436. On the Chartec 1709, we don't need any galvanizing due to the fact of we're not permeable. We're an epoxy-based resonant product that sticks directly to the steel. So let's go to the second category, transportation. We have lightweight cementitious concrete, which has to go to the galvanizer. Our Chartec doesn't. That's an additional $1,574 from our shop round trip. Then you have the galvanizer back to the applicator site, which is another additional $300. Chartec doesn't. It goes from the fabricator site to our site, then onto the job site. In addition, all this material that you add up in comparing the both two is $1,574 to the galvanizer on cementitious, $300 back to the applicator, $4,200 that goes from that site out to the job site due to we added 50 additional tons. And with the Chartec 1709, we went directly from the fabricator to our job site, $1,200, from our application site to the final site for an additional $1,200 and only added 12 additional tons. With this being said, we are 3 times less the weight of a total project weight. So let's move on to our third category, which is shop applied fireproofing. So let's compare the two products. Obviously, lightweight cementitious concrete and the shop applied portion is $10 a square foot. With the 10,819 square foot, we come up with $86,552. This is where we get separated in between, because as you can notice, the Chartec 1709 is $35 a square foot. Well, with 10,819 square foot, we're at $359,732. This is where it looks like it's way far apart, but wait till the next category and I'll show you where the true cost lies. Let's go to the final category, which is the field application portion. This is where it all comes together. So we're in the final category of the field application process. As you can see, down here we have our blockouts, we have our damage, we have our scaffolding. As you notice next to it, it's 20%. That's 20% of the square footage. 10,819 is the overall square footage. Take 20% of that by our $60 in the lightweight cementitious concrete, and it comes up to $129,828. With that being said, as you notice on the Chartec, we did 95% in the shop, so you only have 5% blockouts. And as you also notice, it's $50 a square foot. That comes to $27,048. With that being said, these are some of the differences I'm starting to show you that we are cheaper in the field and overall project than lightweight cementitious concrete. So our next category is we have damage. Vibration, trucking, everything like that damages the material. So we have an overall industry standard of 15 to 20%. Taking that again of the overall square footage by $60 a square foot comes $129,828. Our damage, since we have a robust material, it's epoxy material, has a less impact damage on vibration or anything like that, is at 5% on the intumescent epoxy. So again, it's $50 a square foot. Again, $27,048. Now the final category on the 3 listed is the scaffolding. Well, cementitious, lightweight cementitious, needs scaffolding due to the fact of weight bearing, needs to be formed up and everything and that such. So with that being said, again, we added another additional $64,914. our intumescent epoxy, we can actually trowel it on. It's lightweight. We don't need any weight bearing or anything like that. So we only average about 2% of the square footage, which is just for the amount for a lift, just to access, means of access around areas and that such. So get in places we can't crawl around and get into the blockouts. So we had an additional
$10,819.
overall product and difference of cost is you have $324,570 on the lightweight cementitious concrete, and you have $64,914. This is where the detail comes together to where you can have a better fireproofing material at a lower cost. So let's summarize why Chartec 1709 is not only better in quality, but in price. So let's compare the two in an overall all project cost. We're going to start out with our 10,819 square foot, like we've mentioned at the beginning. Obviously, the lightweight cementitious concrete needs galvanizing, so that's where we start out with our first $20,436. Chartec, like I had mentioned, doesn't need any galvanizing due to the fact we bond directly to the steel. Transportation, it's $6,074. We go over to Chartec. Chartec's only $2,400. That's due to the fact of the weight difference, that we're 3 times less the weight than lightweight cementitious concrete. Shop applied fireproofing portion, again, this was where the big difference was. We have $86,552. That's $10 a square foot by the 10,819 square foot. $35 a square foot on the Chartec came up to $359,732. Again, that was that big spread. But we brought it all together in the last portion, which is the field portion. We explained how we can only do 80% in the shop with the lightweight cementitious concrete, which was $60 a square foot in the field, which evolved into $129,828 of doing work in the field. Again, the damage on the lightweight concrete as well, due to the fact it's a very porous material that can be broken very easy, and in transportation and vibration, came to another $129,828. The Chartec 1709, obviously we only had 5% that would be damaged in the field due to the fact of some small shipping damage, anything of that nature, and we're a lot more robust of a material. We do 95% in the shop, so we only 5% block out in the field. Overall, in turn, it's $437,632 for the overall process for the lightweight cementitious concrete, and $427,046 for our Chartec 1709. And to wrap this all together, like I said in the very beginning, we are at $39.47 a square foot for our Chartec 1709 and $40.45, showing that there's a 2% savings to have a better fireproofing material. So let me tell you about some added values that Chartec gives the customer. It has 0 maintenance and a 10-year warranty. How many fireproofing materials give you that? So let me ask you a question. Now, what do you know about fireproofing materials?